In this episode, let's take a tour of the Stanley Hotel, one of the most famous hotels and most haunted hotels in the world. What makes it so haunted? What spooked Stephen King so much that his stay here inspired him to write The Shining? Join us as we take you on a one night stay at the Stanley Hotel, and you can meet the paranormal yourself. But first, let's check out another haunted hotel tale, an original horror time tale called Morning Star Hotel.
Listen now to the tales, the legends, and the true stories. For time is but a human construct, and it knows no bounds. For the paranormal and unexplained, it is always horror time.
Hello there, horror fans. We are almost to the hotel. Can't wait to see inside. Oh, it's even got this mysterious fog looming around. So, Mark, what do you think? Will there be a creepy desk person or other entities?
I bet it's a mislead, and it's just your average desk clerk. How long do you think the owner lasted before he himself?
This article says that he went for a few months, but his appearance looked worse every time someone died. I guess he just couldn't take what he had done and thought, I don't know, taking his life would end the cycle.
It is very tragic. Well, now we have an opportunity to have some real paranormal experience. Maybe we can even figure out what happened and help them move on. So, to all our fans out there, don't forget to like and share so we can keep these adventures running.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. And also, if you have any guesses of what happened in this place, leave it down in the comments and we'll see if you're right. So we'll be right back after this sponsor break. Hi, I'm Travis. Is work stressing you out? Feel like you just need to get away? Well, I got the spa for you. We excel at massages and relaxation exercises. These are proven to distress. And if it doesn't work, you get your money back. So visit us at the Morning Star Hotel, where no one leaves angry.
Hope that sponsor appeals to you all out there. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. We just parked and we're headed inside the hotel. Smell that old hotel scent. Look at that, Tom, a creepy-looking desk clerk. What do you know?
Let's go check in and sign the waiver. Hey, and not so loud. We don't want to get kicked out already. Hello there, Tom and Mark. Checking in, please.
Welcome. Yes, please sign the waiver here, and we'll have you on the 6th floor in room 607. Here are your room keys. Have a wonderful stay.
You all are ready to experience some real hauntings tonight. Who do you think we'll see first, Tom? The woman? The kids? The owner himself, maybe? You know, for a hotel that's got such a checkered past, actually doesn't look too bad. It's spotless. Kinda too perfect, wouldn't you say?
Wonder who that is. Hello? Who is it? anyone in the hall. What is this?
Hey out there! Look what we just got, a mysterious invitation to a party in the hall. When Tom opened the door, no one was there but this invitation. This could be our first encounter, huh? We'll keep you posted on what happens. Maybe this party doesn't even exist.
First, we are going to go to the roof to see if the woman appears for us. We are on our way up there right now. So we'll have to get off at the 10th floor, then walk up the stairway to get to the roof. I hope you're all ready for this. I know Mark and I are.
I believe that I'm more than ready. My heart's racing, my adrenaline pumping. Let's get this footage! Hey Tom, maybe we can play the elevator game later. Give the fans a twofer. What do you think? Let's go. Quickly, up the stairs. We can't miss this. To our fans at home, this is the anniversary of the woman's death. That's why we were doing this one first. Where'd she go? Do you see her?
No, I don't, Mark. It's almost 9:16 p.m. too. The scream we heard was right on time. That is when it was supposed to have happened. Hey, leave a comment below if you see her.
There she is! Come on, let's get closer to make contact. Here we are, fans. Right after the sponsor break. Feeling low in your travels? Try out Morningstar Hotel, where your soul will feel refreshed. Holy shit, there she is! Miss, hello! I'm Mark. What happened? Why are you jumping? No, wait! Fuck! Looks like it must have just been an echo. I swear she turned and looked at me. Did you see that, Tom? Did you see that at home? Leave a comment if you did.
What? Where did all the people go? Oh my god, what kind of trick is this? Hello? Hey, desk clerk guy. Get out here, we got questions. What is going on?
Oh, asshole! Get out here so we can kick your ass. Something's going on.
Your souls are mine.
Anyone watching right now? Hopefully this gets out to someone. If you see this, please come out to Morningstar Hotel. I don't even know if I'll be around by the time you get here, but he needs to be stopped. I don't know what happened to Mark. Last I saw him, that guy, the clerk, he grabbed him and Mark just went limp and he dragged him away. It's like he took a soul out of him. At least that's what it looked like. Please. Hello, horror fans! Join us in 2 weeks when we host a 3-day event here at the Morningstar Hotel. Everyone is welcome. All you have to do is pay for your room, sign the waiver, and everything else is included. So get ready for a spooktacular time as we're kicking off with a horror-themed party in the main hall on the first night. Hope to be seeing you there. Hello, horror fans. I'm Timekeeper Matt.
I'm Timekeeper Pat.
Welcome to episode 3 of season 3. Pat, are you ready to travel to the hotel that inspired one of the most famous horror stories and
horror films of all time, The Shining.
Yes, I am.
Nice. Yes, The Shining. So this hotel inspired Stephen King to write The Shining, and also it obviously inspired them to make the Stanley Kubrick film The Shining as well. So let's go ahead and travel there, shall we? After a long day of travel, you finally check in to your hotel room, room 217 of the Stanley Hotel. The hotel is beautiful, with colonial revival architecture made up of 150 rooms and 11 buildings rising to 4 floors. Before you head to your room, you decide to explore. Like I said, it's too beautiful not to. The hotel includes lounges, a pool, a 450-seat concert hall, and a hedge maze out front. All of this is surrounded by mountains situated in Estes Park, Colorado. You enter the empty concert hall, and as you are circling around the building, you hear faint noises. Sound like voices, multiple voices, but one of the voices gets closer, and in your ear, you swear you hear, "Get out." That was odd, you think? Probably just tired, right? Anyway, this hotel has history. You can see it, you can feel it. The Stanley Hotel opened July 4th, 1909. It was originally a hotel intended for upper class Easterners and a health retreat for those suffering from pulmonary tuberculosis. The hotel came from the mind of Freeland O. Stanley. Born on June 1st, 1849 in Kingsfield, Maine, his journey from a teacher to a photographer to an automotive pioneer and a hotel owner is a tale of ingenuity and ambition. In the late 19th century, Stanley and his twin brother Francis Edgar Stanley made their mark in the world of photography. Their studio in Massachusetts captured the essence of an era through the lens of their cameras. But it was the growing automotive age that would catapult the Stanleys into the spotlight. Their famous creation, the Stanley Steamer, was a testament to Freeland O. Stanley's commitment to innovation and pushing the boundaries of technology. However, Stanley's life was not without its challenges. He suffered from tuberculosis, a deadly respiratory disease that plagued many during this time. It was this struggle with his health that led him on a journey to find a place with clean, crisp mountain air, believed by his doctor to have therapeutic benefits for individuals with this illness. It was in the picturesque landscape of Estes Park, Colorado, that was nestled in the Rocky Mountains where his vision came to life. In early 1900s, with his wife Flora, he dreamed of a grand hotel there. Their dream was to create a luxurious resort that would draw the affluent elite to the breathtaking natural beauty of Colorado. In 1907, his doctor's orders were correct, and he was cured of tuberculosis. So he began construction on the hotel and the power plant that would power the hotel. This made it the country's first hotel to be fully powered by electricity. However, there was a lack of availability of energy to that area, so a gas line was installed for the lights in 1911. Well, one of the gas lines one day was filled and caused a leak in the pipes. The next day, the housekeeper Elizabeth Wilson went into room 217 with a lantern. It caused a huge explosion that knocked her down to the first floor and injured 7 other people and destroyed 10% of the hotel. But miraculously, Wilson survived. Room 217. Isn't that the same room that you are staying in? There's an odd feeling about this room. Out of the corner of your eye, you could swear you see a glass move across the table. Possible, right? Clearly, you're just tired from the day. You lay your head down, quiet for a bit, and just before you start to drift off, you start to hear faint female voices. Turn on the light. Hello? All the clothes that you still haven't unpacked are scattered across the ground. As you look back up, you see an apparition of a woman dressed in early 20th century clothing, dart across the room, and vanish into the wall. A walk. That'll do the trick. A walk, right? You're clearly all out of sorts from traveling and you're just having trouble falling asleep. At first, you decide to wander the halls. You head up to the fourth floor to walk around. As you walk down the hall, you start to hear children giggling, running up and down the halls. Room 428's door is cracked open, and as you pass by, you see someone inside dressed as a cowboy, standing still and staring at the foot of the bed. The giggling stops, and the children just vanish. Okay, that's enough of this floor, you think to yourself. You decide to go relax at the bar. Walking down the grand spiral staircase, you then catch the glimpse of people walking by. A lot of people for this hour. And again, they are wearing early 20th century clothing. As you walk through the lobby, you then hear a faint but distinct sound of a piano playing from the music room. You take a seat at the whiskey bar and you immediately ask for a red rum ale. Need to calm my nerves before I go to sleep, you know? The bartender kind of smirks at you. Staying in room 217, huh? You look at him puzzled. How does he know that? Yeah, that's one of the most haunted places in the hotel. You proceed to tell him everything you have witnessed thus far. Yeah, it seems like there isn't a corner of this hotel that isn't haunted. What you heard and saw in room 217, that was Elizabeth Wilson. She was the one that got knocked out but survived the explosion of 1911. Apparently, she came back here when she passed at 90 years old. She's definitely old fashioned, though. Doesn't like unmarried couples sleeping in a bed together. Some have reported to feel cold presence in between them as if someone's trying to push them apart. She can also be helpful, though, and also not so helpful. She messes up your clothes if you don't unpack, and then she might even pack clothes for you when you're checking out. Yeah, and that floor 4 you went up to. Yeah, that's infamous around here. Room 401 has gained a reputation as the eeriest spot in the hotel. I mean, I've had some believing that it's haunted by a malevolent male ghost. Several women have even recounted unsettling encounters, alleging they felt an unwelcomed presence and experienced, inappropriate touches, as you can say, while inside their closet. And then in a separate incident, a gentleman claimed to have witnessed his wedding ring mysteriously sliding off the bathroom counter and disappearing down the sink's drain. Also, not far down that hall, in room 407, numerous guests have shared strange encounters of feeling as though they were tucked into bed by unseen forces. Others have reported the sensation of someone sitting on the front of their bed, only discovered nothing was there when they turned the light on except for a telltale indentation on the covers. And then room 428, that one that you saw cracked open, well, that has a unique history. Guests have reported glimpsing the apparition of a cowboy either looming over their bed while they slept or silently standing in a corner. Surprisingly, there are no rooms directly above this one, yet, throughout the years, numerous guests have recounted peculiar occurrences, including eerie sounds resembling furniture being shifted and phantom footsteps echoing from the ceiling above. And then there's the child giggles, right? Well, the fourth floor was was for young children and their nannies to stay. You see, back in the day, guests would come to stay for weeks or months, so it was imperative to have a place to put them where they wouldn't just disturb the other guests. And well, I guess some of the kids just came back. Oh, and the concert hall, you probably met our friend Paul. He was a handyman. Seems to not like it when guests wander the concert hall when they're not supposed to be there. He'll tell you to get out. In the basement, that's where he lived, right underneath the concert hall. Also, there's another voice that can be heard. Her name's Lucy, at least that's what we call her. Story goes that she was a homeless woman and wandered into the basement and died from cold exposure. But she's never seemed to have left. That basement is quite haunted. It's even complete with a cursed mirror. Ghosts like to show up in it if you take pictures with the mirror. Also, the Stanleys and some other guests have never left either. Most you can hear or see when you travel down the spiral staircase, or the vortex as we like to call it. Many say they have heard old Mrs. Stanley playing the piano in the music room. Like I said, every corner here is haunted. There's even a tunnel underneath that was used by the employees so they wouldn't get in guest ways. They would travel back and forth through the tunnel. Well, that's haunted too. They say that you can have phantom smells of baked goods down there. I guess the ghost of the pastry chef. And then on top of all of that, there's a pet cemetery on the grounds where a ghost retriever and a fluffy white cat have been seen. There's this friendly golden retriever named Cassie. She's said to still deliver newspapers and scratch at doors. Folks around here think that the hotel is haunted because of the way it was situated in the mountains and built on quartz that radiates the energy needed for ghosts. Of course, some don't believe about energy of minerals and rocks and say it's actually simply because the spirits loved the hotel in this life so much that they spent it there. They came back for their afterlife.
Just pop them
You
now.
head
Thank you
back
for
to
you.
your
Thank you very
room,
much indeed.
at least with some type of explanation. For all that's happened, you can't help but love the beauty of this hotel and its surroundings. You want to come back, but maybe just not in room 217. All right, and that's it there. Journey on back.
Yo, that's crazy.
Lots of stuff going on in that hotel. And it's, yeah, lots of stuff. Now, we also said that this hotel inspired Stephen King to write the famous horror story, The Shining. So a little story there. So this hotel actually, the funny thing is that this hotel in the 1970s, it was about to go bankrupt and be demolished completely. And the reason, literally the reason that it didn't go bankrupt is because of this book and because of this film.
Oh,
Yeah, people started wanting to experience this hotel because of once they found out that it inspired Stephen King. Like, I guess the phones went off the hook and checking, and booking was just like it was just booked out. And yeah, it actually survived because of that. And so how it inspired him was actually he and his wife went there one fall or right before the winter. And it turns out that this hotel during that time, like I said, it was having financial problems. So they would close every winter, very much like the story, right? They would
that
close.
was one of my questions.
Yep.
Going to be
Yep. So they would close every winter, and Stephen King and his wife were there right before this was about to happen, and they were basically the only ones in the hotel. So this obviously gave him a very good setting in his mind. And that night, was happening to stay in. He happened to be staying in room 217, and he went to sleep that night and he had a nightmare. And in the nightmare, his son was running around the halls of the hotel and was being chased by a fire hose. And the fire hose strangled him and killed him.
whoa.
Yeah. And Stephen King obviously shut up, woke up, and at that moment, he took out a cigarette, sat down in his hotel room, and by the time the cigarette was finished, he had the entire story of The Shining mapped out in his head. Entire story. And
It's so weird when you're what do I want to call it? Like when that spark hits,
yeah, right?
like, and you just go
Yeah. And
and
he
like you lose yourself.
it's crazy. It's crazy. And
It's awesome. I love it.
yeah, yeah, no, it's fantastic, and he just happened to write one of the most famous it was his first, like, best-selling hardback cover too. He had a few famous I think maybe not bestsellers, I can't remember, but he had good ones before that, but this was his first hardback best-selling novel, and then, shortly after that, Stanley Kubrick made it into the film. And the funny thing about the fire hose too is 217, if you remember from the story of it, that's the room that had the explosion. Um, so a lot of people are like, "Whoa!" Like fire. I mean, it might be stretching a little bit, but like, "Whoa!" Fire hose. That room. Is it a coincidence? Who knows? Um,
Right.
but yeah, it's an
And
interesting kind of connection.
the what I remember from like the movie at least,
Yeah,
um Jack is typing on the typewriter and he falls asleep
yeah,
and then he starts making noises, and his wife Wendy comes in and goes, wake up," and he
Yeah.
goes, "I just had a dream that I killed our son
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and strangled him," and I was
yeah,
like, that's what I thought about. I was like,
yeah.
"Whoa,
Yeah, I don't know if there's
okay."
I mean, I wouldn't doubt if there's a direct connection to that, it makes sense, but yeah, yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's crazy, that's cool. Um, so, like we said, so on to the film, they made the film after that, and, the film itself, uh, Stephen King famously does not like that movie. I don't know if you know that or not, but he does not like that movie. I think he acknowledges that it's a beautifully made movie because all of Stanley Kubrick's films are obviously beautifully made. One
Mhm.
of the greatest directors of all time. Uh, but I know what specifically he didn't like about it was how Jack was basically messed up from the beginning. In the book, it's kind of he's very. I've never read the book actually. I've always been meaning to.
Me neither. I was just gonna
Um,
say, I was like, I'm very biased because I have not
right,
viewed or read the
but
book.
yeah, and he says that in the book he was basically it was basically kind of like a pure type of person that fell into
Turned.
evil towards the end. So
That makes sense.
right,
Okay.
right. So it was, and I can understand that. And like casting someone like Jack Nicholson, like he probably did great. And I think he said he did well as the crazy Jack, but
Mhm.
to him, it needed to be this slow burn to, hey, you didn't expect him to turn. Whereas he thinks in the beginning, because in the beginning they talk about how he was drunk and pulled
He accidentally did. Yeah.
pulled the arm out of the socket or whatever, like that whole thing. So I can understand where he's coming from there. The other thing is that they did not or film any of it in the Stanley Hotel. The outside, none of it is filmed in the Stanley Hotel.
Oh.
He did not like that. I forget what it's in. Where's the film? I dang it, comes out of it's out of my mind of where they filmed so the footage of the outside is filmed somewhere in like I want to say like up towards like Yellowstone, like that area. I forget the name of the hotel, but you can actually go to it. And then the interior stuff was all soundstage in England. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So, but years later, I think in like the 90s, there was a mini TV series that Stephen King headed that he made of The Shining, and he filmed it in the Stanley Hotel. Um, I don't think I've ever watched the TV series, but it was like from the 90s.
I didn't know there was
Yeah,
one.
there is one. Yeah. Um, I don't know if it's as acclaimed, but also you also notice that 217 is the room that I can keep talking about. But if you are familiar with the film is room 237. Um, and the reason being is because of the hotel that they used for the Overlook Hotel did not want the association, and they do not have a room 237. So they're like, "Can you please make up another room? Like, don't use room
Oh wow.
217." So that's what happened. Now, you can obviously room 217 still there, and it's still said to be very haunted in the actual Stanley Hotel. And I've heard that you have to request it over phone, and like it's booked out for several like Halloweens and stuff like that into the future. Very hard to get into to stay there. Um, but speaking of room 217, another so this is a fun fact. This is kind of cool. So the movie Dumb and Dumber was filmed in the Stanley Hotel. Don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
Yes. So the hotel at the end that they end up in um, is the Stanley Hotel, which is fun.
That's awesome.
During filming, yeah, and during filming, the crew stayed in Stanley Hotel, and Jim Carrey requested room 217 because he knew the past of it. He requested 217. He stayed in room 217 allegedly for a few hours and ran out of the hotel and stayed in another hotel down the road for the rest of the filming. And to this day, he's never explained to anyone what actually happened to him on that night. There have been kind of rumors that he's told other people that he basically witnessed the speaking in his ears and the stuff that we were kind of talking about, and it just
Yeah.
spooked him out so much that he just left and never came back. And the whole
I
time.
did I think I remember reading something about that he ran out, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they filmed Dumb and
Yeah,
Dumber
yeah, I and yeah,
there.
if you look at it, and then the other thing I forgot to mention too about the going back to the TV series, the hedge was never there. They added the hedge after the TV series, was made, and also the hedge is not in the book, it's actually animal topiaries, I think it's like they move and stuff, so the hedge is actually was created by the film.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
then in the film I saw, there wasn't you can't see the hedge in the beginning, but then it's there every other time they show the whole like
Yeah, yeah.
hotel.
I love the symbolism of the hedge maze in that. It's almost kinda like, especially the first time they venture into it when, uh, what's her name? I'm just thinking of the actress name, Shelley. Um,
Oh, Shelley Duvall,
yeah, I forget her character's name. Uh,
Wendy,
Wendy, that's it, Wendy. Uh, when she and, why am I blanking on all the characters' names? What's the kid
Danny.
Danny, thank you. Uh
I'm sorry, I'm really good with names, so
Yeah,
that's
no, I'm terrible with them, so that they will I'm glad we balance each other out there. Um, so Wendy and, Danny go into the hedge maze, and then he's looking over the model of the hedge maze, and it's kinda like this portion of the movie where you can tell he's starting to descend into madness, and I love this, like, symbolism of that hedge maze of, like, descending into it, like, he's looking over it, and then this next scene is cuts to, like, the overhead shot of the 2 of them wandering through this maze, like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that's what I love that movie is just, like, I love the atmosphere that that movie creates. It really does make this atmosphere of, like, seclusion when you watch it, and I get it
Oh
every
yeah.
single time. It's really well done in that aspect, but I can understand his beefs against it as far as, the book are concerned, but I've never really been a I mean, he's the author, so he has a right to. But I've never been a book to movie person where I get angry about that stuff unless it's like completely off the rails. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so yeah. So that's all I have about that. Um, but the one thing that I found, unless you have anything to add about the film or whatever you wanted to talk about there.
For when Stephen King was staying there, like, did they in real life when it was closed for the winter, is closed for the winter? Do they have a caretaker, like a single person slash
I
family?
didn't I'm going to assume they had some type of maybe the crew staying there. I don't know if they had one single person stay there like they did in The Shining. I don't remember from reading anything like that. I just know that it just happened to close at that time, and he found that to be a good setting, and honestly, it is. Uh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, no, good question. Um, but yeah, but going back to the Stanley Hotel itself, the one thing that I found very interesting about, the paranormal activity there that up until this point, when we've been talking about paranormal entities, we always kind of talk about the negative energy that's been left that causes the paranormal to stick around.
Hmm.
But there's been no bloodshed here. There was the explosion, but that didn't kill anyone. So there's no bloodshed there. No one really like notably died there. It's not like other hotels like that where it's like someone notably died or jumped off the roof or what have you. Um, this one just seems like happy, positive energy. Like even as they mention, it seems like everyone just kinda loved it. Like, some people think that they just loved being at this hotel so much that they relive these times in the hotel, and I found that interesting. Like, I found that, like, that's kind of a cool aspect and almost kind of, like, reassuring a little bit.
Yeah. Like
We
if you
always
went
talk
to
about
stay
how,
there, you
like
know you're not gonna run the risk
yeah,
of not leaving.
right, right, and how we always kinda talk about how, like, "Oh, it's so sad for them to get stuck in this loop, but what if it's a happy loop?" You know?
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It's not all negative. There is positive.
Yep. Yeah. Would you stay in room 217?
I mean, if it's all positive, I mean, it might freak me out. I'm not gonna lie if someone's whispering in my ear, but uh,
I don't know. I Yeah, that would freak me out, I guess, but I just feel that there's a lot more. Yeah, I mean, maybe a lot more things that maybe the moving things would get me, or like actually seeing the apparition disappear into the wall is probably
Yeah, the cowboy standing in the corner might be like, I might be like, hello?
I might laugh at that. I don't know. It's so weird.
Like, why are you in the corner?
Why are you dressed like a cowboy?
Yeehaw.
Why are you, yeah, why are you just like, why are you looking at me? I mean, and that puppy, I mean, I couldn't, that dog that like scratches on your thing and door and gives you a newspaper, I couldn't be mad at that. If there was one type of
No,
ghost that I would be okay with seeing, it would be a dog. Always okay with seeing a dog.
100% on that for sure.
Isn't it funny how like there's a pet cemetery there, and like that's another thing that, I mean, it did not inspire him, but it's just,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, now that you mentioned that, you said that the Stanleys were from Maine, right?
Yep. Hmm.
And all Stephen King stories are based in Maine,
Oh
aren't or something
dang.
like that?
Yeah, I never even thought of that. That's kind of cool too.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, geez."
Yeah, and then when I was watching The Shining the other day, and I was like, yeah, Stanley. I was like, oh shit, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, yeah, and that too.
I'm
Yep.
like, these are weird connections. I don't know. It's just strange. Yeah, that's that's fun.
Let's see, what else did I have? No, answered those. So, I mean, I did happen to look at pictures and everything,
Hmm.
and I saw a lot of whether they're forged or whatever. There's like pictures of the like, entities coming down the stairs, or there's like a
Yeah.
group
No.
of people and like
Hmm.
one little echo
Hmm.
looking thing
Hmm.
in front of everyone, but no
Hmm.
one was looking at it. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And
Yeah.
especially if they're like positive, it would be like a neat little experience, you know?
Yeah. No. Agreed. Agreed. They did. Say that there, yes, no, there has been footage taken of what they think are these entities. And then I mentioned that there's a mirror in the basement, this cursed mirror that's not even originally from the hotel, I guess. I don't know where they got it from, but if you take a picture of it, apparently the entity or ghost or whatever will show up behind you. But that's only in the basement, and I guess if you take an actual ghost tour, which they do offer at the hotel, um, that's the only way you can go down there and see it, and into the tunnels that they used to use as well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, circling back to you said Pet Cemetery. I
Yeah.
had this question. In the I know in the movie again, but they were walking around the grounds and they talked about it being built on a Indian burial ground, or did I hear that wrong?
No, in the film they say that.
But it's not really.
I don't think so. I think I mean, it's the Rocky Mountains, so there's a lot of that influence going around, and I don't know, the biggest theory was the quartz energy and being kind of situated, and it just kind of like in that area. Um I was watching one documentary, and they actually have a resident psychic on the grounds of Stanley Hotel, and that's her theory on it too. Uh, that it's that, and I don't know if I really buy into the whole energy of minerals and rocks. I know a lot of people do, so no discredit to people that do. You never know, um,
Hmm.
what's out there, but I like to think it's just kind of that happy positive. I like that story. I like that aspect of it personally.
That's cool. I didn't know that either.
But,
So,
yeah.
um, I also didn't know tuberculosis could be cured. So I do now.
Yeah, and well, it's not the first historical figure I've ever heard that has had it and survived it. Obviously, a lot of people died from it. But yeah, I guess he went there and he lived till like 90 years old. So not only
Oof,
did he have it, he lived for a long time. Think of 90, something like that. I might be getting that mixed up with the Elizabeth person, but I think he did. He lived for quite a long time.
that's
Um,
good.
yeah. And then there's another ghost up there, Danvers. Danvers, I think's his name. He was the guy who originally owned the land before Stanley did. So it was owned by someone Danvers or something like that, and they say that he haunts, I think, the fourth floor. That used to be this like attic type area where the kids and the nannies would stay. Um, but yeah,
And then my last question.
yeah,
So red rum is a real ale,
it is. I'm glad that you mentioned that. It is a real ale.
but it was
They,
after the fact,
oh
right?
yeah. But
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
they do sell it at the bar at the Stanley Hotel. I think it's a brewery in the area, from what I was looking at. But yeah, red rum. Like, I mean, you might as well profit off of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually drink like ales or like beers
No, same.
because like,
But I would
but I
probably,
would definitely try
yeah,
that.
I was gonna say if I was there, when in Rome type of thing, I would definitely do it.
That's pretty cool.
You know. But anyway, so that is all we got for. At least that's all I have for the Stanley Hotel, and The Shining as well. Do you have anything else?
No, maybe we'll have to make a future reservation and
I would love to.
show our fans what we
Yeah,
experienced.
I don't know about you. I didn't really answer the question, but I'd stay in room 217. I'd do it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I do it. I don't know, but hey, all you listeners, you should let us know if you would stay in room 217.
or
Um,
if you have.
or if you have, yeah, let us know if you have. Uh, if you are not following any of our socials, we are at Horror Time Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, all at Horror Time Podcast. Catch us there. Catch us on our reels where we have our ongoing urban legend series, and then also we started up a horror movie series as well that kind of goes off themes of our episodes. So I will be doing a Shining one, about more backstage trivia than what you've heard today. And yeah, if you could really be so kind, to leave us a review, that really helps us, get out there and be known to others, so we can, keep on bringing this horror content to all of you, and to other fans of the genre as well. We would very much appreciate that. So yeah, thanks for listening again. We will catch you in a couple of weeks. We are going to do, 2 episodes that week. One is going to be our normal episode, and then we're going to do a horror time review off of a film. It's going to be going off of, the premiere of The Exorcist, the new Exorcist series coming out. We thought it would be fun to kind of coincide with that. So we are going to have a episode about Roland Doe, who is the inspiration. His exorcism was the inspiration for the hit, film The Exorcist. And then on Friday the 13th, yes, that's right, October has a Friday the 13th, we are going to review the original Exorcist franchise. So those first 3 films, we're going to go over them. So yeah, we'll catch you then. And then, yeah, if Pat, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that covers it.
All right, awesome. All right,
Yeah.
well, all right, thanks, horror fans.
Feeling low in your travels? Try out Morningstar Hotel, where your soul will feel refreshed